Hello everybody, it's DiTryin and I wanted to do a little before and after shop tour so you get to see what I've been working with. It's a kind of a mess and why I want to improve it. So starting off here, this is the problem that I want to solve. I had a miter saw station. I got a different saw and it didn't fit in the space anymore, so I want to redo this. So basically, that's the new saw, Delta Cruise. Really like it. The thing I like about it is it's flush with the wall, so not that you can tell very well, but it just makes it really nice because you can just build that into the system and it is far back as it needs to go. So anyways, so what I currently have is just this shelf under here. The file cabinet has all my shop manuals and receipts and stuff. So I'm still going to build something like that in. I got a sander. It's an oscillating belt sander thing, which I don't use that often, but it needs a new home. This is where the saw was living. And then this is the other part of the station. I want to build boxes for all my screws and stuff. A lot of these down here are empty because they need to get filled. And then over here, I have a drill press, fairly new, and haven't used it that much, but I want to use it more. I just can't get to it easily. So I believe I'm going to build a drill stand, like station. So it'll have its own little cabinet on wheels so that can move around. Dust collection. That'll be a different video. But right now I have this giant 6-inch drop that comes in here with this blast gate. And this was a Cat's Moses system. So you, I can't do that on camera. But I had this coming out with a Y adapter. So one Y went to the miter saw, the other Y went to a 2-inch port so I could use it for sanding. So I want to do something like that, but I don't want this hanging down quite that far. So that'll get adjusted. Oops. Then over here, I got my Craig station. I have French cleats, which are a wonderful system. Then I have this giant table saw sled, which I would love to take credit for, but I bought that on Craigslist. And then here's my current storage for my cases with bits and screws and nails and all that. This just takes up a lot of space, so I want to either build that, like sliding shelves, either down there, which would take up a whole 40-inch cabinet, or I might try to put something on the wall. So we'll see about that. And then a few things that I did build that I'm very proud of. This is my planer and jointer combination stand. So this is on wheels. This works really good because I can just put it against the wall when I'm not using it. When I need to use it for doing stuff, I can just roll it out, and then you can't tell very well, but I have the dust collection system coming down here, and then this pipe will branch off and go into my other thing that I'm very proud that I built, which is this wonderful router table. This plan was from Montreal DIY, and really nice. I really like that too. And once again, I roll it out. The splurge was a woodpecker fence, which I also found on Craigslist, so I got a really good deal on that. But the table itself I built with a Jessam router lift, but it works really well. I really like it. Then back to other stuff. I'm in a garage workshop space, so I have a ductless heater, air conditioning, which is really, really nice. Makes it nice in here. Another thing that I need to change up, I built this great drill case storage, and I really like this. This was really a pain to build, but it looks really cool. What doesn't look cool is all the junk on top of it. So now that I'll have more space on the wall, I want to put in a charging station and hang all my different chargers up in this space. Here's my nailer. And then, of course, you got to have clamps. So I just recently moved all these clamps over here so I could open up the space. And then this cabinet, which has a bunch of finishes and glue and stuff in it, this I want to put in a cabinet over the miter saw so that this whole wall could be freed up. And then over here, I have a sanding cabinet, multiple sanders. You can't see them really well, but I probably have more sanders than I should. And lots of sandpaper and stuff. So this has worked pretty well. It just needs to be organized better. Then the messy part, because I need room to work. So this is just the mess. So this I shouldn't even be showing in a video, but you know, got to show all the warts. So my dust collection system has the drop here. So it comes down 6-inch, goes down to 4-inch, and then the tube comes out, and that goes to the router, goes to the planer, the joiner. I want to 3D print some magnetic fittings for that, because I found some nice plans. Then the dust collection system comes over here. Ignore the mess. It's hard to ignore. But there's another drop there that goes pretty much just to the saw. And then some other interesting things I have. Well, you have to have a shop vac. So that's just here as I've been cleaning. And then I also have a Hercules dust extractor. This may live underneath the chop saw, underneath the miter station. I'm not decided yet. I really would like to use my big system for the dust, but I could also hook up this. So we'll see. This little stand is really hard to tell. I found this at a garage sale, and I bought it. And so it's like a nice roller stand, and it's like just homemade, you know, and it goes up and down. And so I can put this, so if I'm doing something on the table saw and I need an outfeed, I can raise this so it's the same height as the table saw, and it just rolls onto that. So I thought that was really cool. So then I made my own. So I made a version, which of course has lots of stuff on it. Pretty much did the same design, except I made mine where this top will come off and flip down, so that I could store it, you know, flatter. Of course, I hardly ever do that because I usually use it for stuff, but it's really nice for an in-feed and out-feed table. Another Hall of Shame thing is this wonderful workbench that I got off of Craigslist again, but it was from somebody that's like a master wood carver type person that uses hand tools. And so he was upgrading his bench, and I got this for a really good deal. But you can't tell because it's just covered with everything as I've been moving stuff around. But right now it just lives on sawhorses, and someday I'd like to make that on a rolling stand so that could roll around, and that could be my workbench. The other thing, if you've watched my channel, you'll know that I do magnet fishing. And down here is mainly railroad spikes. And you can't even tell, but I have just tons of railroad spikes. I had dreams of cleaning them all up and then selling them. That hasn't really happened, but for now, there's hundreds of railroad spikes just being stored there, so that's not good. Table saw, once again, is just full of stuff as I've been cleaning, but normally that sits here, and I do like to keep it fairly cleaned off, so I can use it as a work surface. Then I also have these shelves here, which just aren't that used. You got to have the gripper. In case you do woodworking, you probably have seen these. These are wonderful for doing stuff at the table saw. And then I have another set that I use at the jointer. And then I 3D printed these holders, which I can't do with one hand, so we'll just let that be. But this space needs to be reorganized, because I put stuff in there to die and then I never get to it. So I want to redo that wall. Dust collecting comes down again, and this is probably the most used part of it. So I have a little 2-inch gate here that has a flexible hose, and so if I'm doing sanding, I'll hook that up to my sander, and then it comes down to this 4-inch port, and then that goes to, you can't see it because, you know, but it's the floor cleaner, which is really nice because that has a nice flexible hose, 4-inch. So I can take that around and clean the whole shop with that one flexible hose. Works really, really well. So very happy with that. Then I have just more junk. That's a project I'm working on. I have 3 dachshunds. Sometimes they'll come in here and sit with me. I need to put a new cover on their bed. But they don't like the loud noises, so yeah, I wish I could say I did that stained glass, but no. Another garage sale find. I just thought that was cool. And then coming over here, we have a 14-inch bandsaw, which I did buy new. Really, really like it. It's 220, 230 volts, so I had to put in a special outlet for that, which I also at the same time changed my saw to be the same voltage. So I use that one outlet for both the bandsaw and the table saw, and that's been nice. I love this bandsaw. I need to use it more. I just got a track saw, and I needed a place to put the tracks, and this space seemed to work. I printed out some 3D holders, so that works out really sweet. And then my other disappointment over here, this is like the first thing I built, was this mobile workbench, which is from Woodworking for Mere Mortals, if you're familiar with that channel. This was one of the projects on his course, and so I built this thinking this was going to be my workbench. It just ended up not working as well. So I mainly used it for storage, but I would like to probably just get rid of this and use the space over here for like the drill press station, maybe the sanding station. We'll see. But right now it's just storage, and if I build the cabinets for the miter saw, some of this stuff can go live there. But you know how it is, stuff just collects. And then coming around, you have to have a first aid station. So I have my fire extinguisher. I always have a tourniquet sitting around. And then things are just falling out. But in case I ever have any kind of accidents, everything is here. So that was a good investment. And then this is another eyesore. Just a cabinet that just has junk in it, and the top is just overwhelmed with junk. So that all needs to go and reuse that space. This I really like. Big giant tool cabinet that I got from Home Depot. So this has all my hand tools in it. And then I 3D printed these labels, which are really nice. And then I've somewhat organized the tools. You know, I could get Kaizen foam and make that really special, but you know, it is what it is. So nothing here is really going to change. It's just a good place to keep everything. And then what shop isn't complete without a Dr. Pepper machine? I drink the Diet Dr. Pepper, so this is always in use. It's the most used thing in my shop, I think. I have a TV with a Roku on it. I have wireless routers, and so I can stream YouTube in here while I'm working. Then this is another thing I'd like to get rid of, is this old, I like the cabinet. It's a really nice cabinet, and I just recently went through and put in all my drill bits. That's empty. But I just put in all my different bits and drivers and stuff. And so I'm thinking when I build the drill press station, this whole cabinet could get emptied out and get put in there. And then that would give me a little more room on that wall. So, then of course Harbor Freight has these wonderful tool holder things. So I got the gloves, a place for all my remotes, paper towels, and then some other ones that need things in them. Okay, then over here in the corner, this needs to go. That's just a scrap bin for when I'm doing cutoffs and stuff. That needs to go. And then the one other thing I might incorporate into the miter saw station is this miter saw hoodie. And this is from Fast Cap. And I don't know if I can do this on camera very well, but this expands out. It's Velcroed, and then it'll expand out, and then it'll cover the back and the sides and the top of the saw, so that all the sawdust, it's like in a little dome, and so all the sawdust will collect, and then you can just stick your hose at the bottom of it, and then it'll suck up everything. Because as you may know, miter saws are really, really bad at dust collection. So I'm planning on using that. We'll see how well it fits in the final design, but we'll see. So that is pretty much my whole shop. It needs a lot of work. I haven't been out here much, but I'm looking forward to firing it up again. And let's see if I can show you the dust collector. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do a separate video on the dust collector because I got too much stuff in the way there. But anyways, this is my shop, and this is the before. So hopefully soon I'll do an update with a new miter saw station with cabinets above, and it'll just look much, much better. It'll be a little bit smaller, but it should use the space much better. So, okay, this is DiTryin, and I'll be trying to build a miter station. See you next time.